Welcome to everyone who is present here today. My name is Nikita. I am your Sergeant at Arms. Today, it's going to be cozy. So I'd like you to have a drink, grab one if you don't have one, sit back, relax. And just to remind you of the club mission, Leadership Speak provides a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. And today, we have Mariana Burka as our Toastmaster of the day. Mariana has been a Toastmaster since October 2018. She served as Area Director and Club President and is currently the Vice President of Education in her first club, Honeymoon City Toastmasters. Just for the lovers, hey? Just kidding. Mariana is a dedicated, self-directed leader. She's working on not one, not two, but 3 separate pathways at the moment: leadership development, humorous pathway, and presentation mastery. And ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and our guests, this lady is flying. She's flying towards earning her Triple Crown Gold this year and her first DTM Distinguished Toastmaster in the upcoming year. So with that said, I would love us to applaud. You can put on your sound. Let's applaud and warmly, with lots of enthusiasm, welcome Mariana Burka.
Wow, thank you very much, Nikita. That was so sweet of you. And welcome everyone to our meeting. And this is my first time being a Toastmaster of the day in our new club. So please be forgiving towards me when I'm making mistakes. And today I picked the topic as online presence because this is the biggest issue for me. But there is one thing I do like about online presentation and presence, that it's 2-dimensional. So you don't know how my hair is looking in my back because nobody can see it. So I just do something in there so it's out of the way. And believe it or not, I only have one earring in because my hair is not moving. I would never do something like this in an in-person meeting. But there is so many shortcomings because of my knowledge holes relating online presentation. And I hope that today I'll be able to learn something from our presenters throughout the session. And that said, I would like to invite a Toast of the Day provider, Nikita Winkler, back. Please welcome Nikita.
Thank you, Mariana. We look, but we don't see. We hear, but we don't listen. Although our theme for today is online visual presence, I would like to raise a toast to all that is presence. And in the words of Eckhart Tolle, presence is a state of inner spaciousness. Bring presence into whatever you do. And you know what that will make of the things that you do. So today, I would like to raise a toast to everyone here who is purposefully working on improving their presence in this world. Cheers to me, cheers to you, and cheers to all the other leaders out there striving for better presence. Cheers. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Nikita. And we keep in mind and we're thinking of everybody who is in a leading position or who is learning to be in that position. That said, I would like to invite our grammarian of the day, Azar Khan, to give us the word of the day.
Thank you. Thank you for Toastmaster and guest. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language and usage. I will take note of any misuse of the English language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, saying, or thoughts. As a grammarian, it's also my duty to introduce the word of the day. Today, word of the day is fractious. Fractious is an adjective. I'm giving the one example. They fight and squabble like fractious children. The similar synonym is fractious, grumpy, grouchy, and grouchy. And I will listen carefully, all speakers. And at the end, I will submit to my report, General Evaluator. Back to you, Toastmaster Freddy.
Thank you very much, Khan, Azar. And now I would like to call forward Bud Brahm. He is our timer of the day, and we like to know his role, what he will do for us today. Please welcome Bud Brahm.
Thank you, Mariana. Can everybody hear me? My computer has been somewhat fractious today. My role as timer is to, as I perceive it, I look at the agenda that is provided by EasySpeak, and at the far right-hand side of the agenda is a list of times that are offered for each participant. And my role will be to time participants and using signals like a green background, or a yellow background, or a red background to indicate to people where they are in the timing that has been allotted to them, and to give them feedback on the timing after they spoke. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Bud. And now we got to the speeches period. And our first speaker will be Brahm Memore. And Brahm has been a master coach and trainer for over 29 years with a background as a chartered accountant. In 2020, he has awarded Club Coach of the Year. And in 2021, as a president of MMHMM Toastmaster, he led his club to be ranked fourth globally with 123 educational awards and 53 active members by year end. The club was awarded Club of the Year. So he definitely knows what it takes for a club to flourish and its members to succeed. And that's why he's currently serving as a Toastmaster International District 86 Club Growth Director. Brahm has attained the DTM designation twice. Professionally, master coach in the space of personal mastery and leadership consultant and coach at large organizations. He is immediate press president of MMHMM Toastmasters. And her speech today is from Innovative Planning, Level 3, Creating Effective Visual Aids. Her speech is between 11 to 15 minutes, green light at 12, amber at 14, and red at 15. And I would like to call Brahm's evaluator to talk about Brahm's goal. And I have to find his evaluator. Francois Bowen.
No, today there's no evaluator for leadership speak today.
Oh, all right. So in that case, I will ask Brahm to tell us about his goals for today's speech before he actually starts speaking.
Thank you. I'm speaking from Innovative Planning, Level 3, speech number 5, creating effective visual aids. It's about presenting a speech about a topic that leads well to visual aids and create at least one, but not more than 3 visual aids to enhance the presentation. Actually, because it's a 15-minute speech and there's been a request for more information on visuals, so I'll be going deeper into the technology as well. Back to Mariana. That was the introduction.
That definitely sounds wonderful, and I'm eager to learn from you. So please welcome Brahm.
Thank you. Presence. Now, I liked what Nikita said about presence and the spiritual spaciousness, the expansion of our spirits and who we are. That is presence indeed. But then there's also the other presence of how do we appear on the screen, right? And what we are using to enhance our message. So those are the 2 aspects that I will be focusing on today. Presence, visual presence. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can already see, I'm using some technology behind me, all right? And I'm standing right in front of this particular thing. So we will talk about that as well. Let's go into our Zoom presence and what does it really mean by Zoom presence? There's various different aspects to a Zoom presence. So for example, I'm using, see this light over here? That's what I'm using right up there. And then there's of course the ceiling light, and that's all. And then I've got 2 huge screens. So there's light coming in from those screens, which is of course my computer screens. And this is a recommended one. I mean, we don't want people to go spend a lot of money, but this one cost me a light like this, which is what's over there. When I bought it 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I can't remember, maybe 4 years ago, or maybe even longer. It was about $100 and something on Amazon. And so this really gives me a well lit face. And I tend to use a darker background. Even when there are no slides, as you can, when I began, there was a darker bluish background. Right? And then I'm just using this slide here to show what's going on, what I'm using, and so on. So I will tell you the technology that I'm using to show what this is later on in this presentation. Lighting is very, very, very important. So, for example, you know, if there's a bright light window behind you, right, and then there's this person sitting next to the light. Well, I'm just showing this person, you know, sitting casually, but as a speaker, if you have a bright light behind you, like a window, or even artificial light for room lights and so on, like we saw this morning for Nazim and so on, then you know it takes away from lighting your face and you, and there's a distraction, and people tend to see and try to look at what's behind you, and you appear darker than the rest of the room. So that is not conducive to lighting. Lighting is one of the most important things in a presentation, as to where the light is. One of the people in our club who does lighting very well that I've seen so far is Nikita. But I think that's because she's a professional dancer, and she does shows and so on, and so she has her presence well prepared about and how she presents herself, and she understands lighting. So watch Nikita if you want to know more about lighting, and her cat, of course. So when there's natural lighting, make sure that it is in the right place and not behind you or takes over you. Here's the other thing. Your skin tone matters as well as the lighting, and where the lighting is in your skin tone. I find that if you're of a darker skin tone, then the light, and there shouldn't be much brighter background or white wall behind you, or a much lighter wall behind you, because then the camera has a very difficult in contrasting, and the camera will try to focus more on the much lighter thing than on the darker skin tone. So those are the important aspects of knowing briefly. Also, what you're wearing. Now, since I'm wearing a white shirt, I put on a black jacket so that the white shirt doesn't sort of take over. See that when I do that, how the lighting sort of changes all of a sudden on the screen, right? So that's very, very important, that what you're wearing and where the light is as well is very, very important in terms of the presence of and what you're projecting out there. Secondly, your visual aids. If you're using visual aids, that's one of those things that don't use PowerPoint that have too much stuff on it. For example, a PowerPoint like this. We've all seen this, whether it's on Zoom or whether it's in physical meetings. People have tended to use this PowerPoint with all these bullet points. And what's the use of such a PowerPoint? It's totally useless. Because if this is what you're going to present, you may as well send it to people and let them read it themselves rather than do a presentation, because a presentation is supposed to be visual and there's supposed to be an interaction between you and the audience, even though the audience may not be saying and they're just observing. So for example, if I want the audience more involved in my presentation, instead of putting the PowerPoint for glaciers, this is what I would do, right? And then have it move and explain whatever it is that I will need to explain about glaciers and so on, rather than put a PowerPoint. Okay. So forget writing. And as you all seen, whenever I've used any writing, there's only just one or two words and they keep moving around. There's visual effects and so on, so that it keeps engagement rather than people trying to read whatever it is. And I use words and brief words just as mental cues for the audience, because when they hear auditory, which is my voice, and then they see visual, it sort of impacts more on the brain and they tend to remember it better. So that's the reason why I use two different modes of presentation, visual and auditory. Software. Now here's the thing, this is where you really guys want to know about what I'm doing and the software that I'm using as well for my visual presentation. Now you may have noticed, again, if I put it there, see how it moves, right? It became small and then went big, and then just a software with stuff around it, line and so on. So that's just a visual effect so that you can remember what I'm talking about, right? And it just makes an impact. So what is it? There's several different ways of putting something behind you. One of the programs which is free but very complex to use is called OBS, right? The other is what I'm using currently is That's right. It's called MMHMM. That's what they call it. And there's Prezi, and there's many others as well, and they do different sort of things. But I love and that's what I'm using currently. Now, how does one use Well, let me explain to you how I'm using So, now, okay, Mr. Grammarian, catch all those so's and ends that I'm saying today, okay? And I know that's what I'm doing today, so there you go. I use Keynote or PowerPoint, right? So behind me, whatever is you see all these slides, they are on Keynote on Mac. In a Windows computer, it'll be called PowerPoint. Now, this particular Keynote or PowerPoint on Windows is fed into this software. The software is that's the symbol for Next, there's a camera as well that is connected to the software okay, on the computer. And then is connected to Zoom, right? So there you go. That's the configuration. So how can I connect to Zoom? Well, is what's called a camera app. The computer recognizes it as if it is a camera, the software. So everything is fed into the software, and Zoom thinks this is a camera. And so this is what you're saying. So the camera is looking at me, and what's behind me is on a PowerPoint or a Keynote, all fed through here and into Zoom. That's the basics of There's many other things that you can do with as well, which I'll probably show you right now. So let me show you what I can do with Let me change this For example, when our grammarian did the word of the day, instantaneously, I put it behind me as a text message, right? And so that's what happened. The other thing is, of course, when I'm doing my coaching, whatever, this is what I use for my coaching business. And I'm usually sitting when I'm coaching one-on-one, but if I'm talking to a large audience, I will probably stand here and then I'll have this disappear. Of course, it doesn't remain there all the time. If I'm not going to be around, the camera, I put the camera off and I say, I'll be right back. This is what can happen. Right? So I love It's a great, awesome program for visual aids and to enhance your presentation with the right lighting and what you can do. So this is now not using any PowerPoint or Keynote. This is directly, and I can do a lot of different things with this. I can even put pictures and so on and slides as well directly into that they'll be static. They won't be like all things moving and so on, and pictures like on a PowerPoint or Keynote. Here's a different way of showing the same thing. Or of course, as you can see, now I'm in a circle and here's my room and I can still say I love and so on. So that is using technology, and here I'm back. So in short, using correct lighting, using the correct sound is very, very important as well, because people are literally listening to what you're saying, and if the sound isn't right, in fact, if the visual is a little bit distorted, that's fine, but the sound has to be perfect. When you're first starting out, make sure that your sound is good. I don't want anyone to go spend their money unnecessarily if you can't afford it or you don't have the space or whatever. But I'm just showing you what I've done. And if you want, even just changing the way where your room is, where your lighting is, where the window is, even buy a small table lamp that for $10-15 from Home Depot or Costco or Canadian Tire. If you're in this is all in Canada, but wherever you are in the world, go and buy something cheap and just have it shine on you. If it is like a spotlight, then there'll be shadows, so make sure it's from two different sides and so on. If you put a piece of cloth on it, then it becomes a softer light for those $10-15 lights. This is what I used to use way before I bought this big light for $99. So that is how you can make your life very easy by using simple tools. Is free for 1 hour each day if you want to just experiment with it. But I pay $10 Canadian, where it's $10 a month because I use it professionally. So that's why I do, and I pay for it as well. So ladies and gentlemen, that is in a nutshell about visual presence and how we can present ourselves and how people can view our presentations and how they can see us enhance our presentation. Not maybe inner, but at least the outer, and hopefully the inner as well comes out if you're genuine enough. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is my presentation on visual and visual presence. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Brahm. Wonderful presentation. And I hope we can see the recordings because there was just way too much information to remember everything. So I want to watch it again. But going forward, we have our next speaker ready, Vinod, Panicker, and her evaluator. We might have a bit of a misunderstanding here, but if I'm correct, Luz Sanchez is her evaluator. Can we?
Hi, point of order. Francois Bourne is his evaluator. Vinod. Francois Bourne, the evaluator, his evaluator.
Yeah, then.
I had got requests from two evaluators. So I thought there was a change in agenda. So I sent my evaluation form to both of you. I would be highly obliged if both of you evaluate me.
I thought I was evaluating you, but let me.
All right, let's here Vinod evaluators. So Luz, please.
I am evaluating Vinod, right?
Well, he would like two evaluations, so both from you and Francois. But if you would just tell us what his speech is about today, and then we go forward from there.
Yes, Vinod am I pronouncing your name correctly, Vinod or Vinod? Vinod?
Vinod.
Okay. Yes, I am the evaluator for Vinod. In his speech, is effective coaching number 2, level 2, understanding your communication style. The objective is to share a communication style and its impact on professional and personal relationships. Avoid reporting on the content of this project. Okay, so Vinod sent me a message, and besides the objectives of for the speech, he requested that I check that he focus on the topic. His central purpose is to persuade members that Pathways is a friendly curriculum. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luz. So let you introduce you, our next speaker, Vinod Panicker, who is a sales coach and trainer in her professional life. And he is a Toastmaster since 2015. He's working currently on leadership pathway, the effective coaching pathway. And he is currently TLI chair for District 105. So his speech is understanding your communication style, which is 8 to 10 minutes long. So for the timer, green light at 8 minutes, amber at 9, and red at 10. Please welcome Vinod Panicker, understanding your communication style. Understanding your communication style, Vinod Panicker.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. They say that when a student is ready, the teacher appears. And when the student is really ready, the teacher disappears. Good evening, leaders. Now, my speech is divided into 3 parts. The first part I would like to share is how I fell in love with Pathways. The second is what I have learned from Pathways. And the third is I'm going to give a challenge to all the leaders in the room today to pick a new member in your home club and do something which I would request. So it started in 2017. I got a call from my mentor. She said, Vinod, I want to give an education session in your club. I said, okay, it's fine. Can you give me details about the education session? She said, no. It's a very highly confidential thing, which even Toastmasters has not published outside. I want to come and deliver, and you have to make sure that it does not go outside this club. I said, fine, please come in. She came and delivered the presentation. It was 2017, and the moment she was showing the presentation, it was on Pathways, and at that time there were 10 paths. I knew this is the future of Toastmasters. Without a single hair of doubt, inch of doubt, I knew this is the future. The reason? Because I was doing a lot of other massive online open programs from edX, Coursera, and I knew and I understood what Toastmasters was trying to do. They were trying to gamify the learning. level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. They wanted to make it every level a little bit complex. And just as we do play games, they wanted to make this curriculum in that way. I could see what the research they have done, and I knew this is completely the future. But then something happened. After the session, nobody ever talked about this because ours was a new club. So most of the new members, it was Greek and Latin for them, whatever happened that day. But 3 months later, there was a district event. And the auditorium was filled with almost 300 Toastmasters. One of her team member gave this presentation, which I still today feel should have not been done. She should have given the presentation. And by the way, she was the chief ambassador for 2 districts. That is, and it had 6 countries. So she gave it an opportunity to her team member, and they showed this is the path and this is the curriculum that pathways, new pathways, and Toastmaster is going to follow. After the presentation, the air in that room was completely negative. And I could not believe that. Like, I was like, this is such a good opportunity to learn something new, to have something modern. But everyone was saying that Toastmaster has axed the own branch on which it is sitting. They have shot on the foot. The senior members are going to leave. Nobody is going to be there. And I was like, I actually sat down there for 20 minutes thinking what went wrong. And we as learners, why were we hesitant to even try something new? Why was this attitude? So I took this as an opportunity and told myself that if I get an opportunity to serve, I will make sure that I will not allow any senior members to leave Toastmasters or feel dejected because of pathways. And the opportunity came after 2 months. Pathways, ambassadors, and guide. I immediately applied, became the guide. I delivered the 12 presentations in the club. And then I delivered some 100 plus presentation across the district. And I used to give challenge to our district officers. Show me a person who hates pathway or who does not want to be in Toastmaster because he does not like pathways. Just give me for 1 hour. I will make him the brand ambassador. And it happened. Many of the members who didn't want to be Toastmasters, and especially the senior members, started loving it. And today they are doing podcasts. Today they are doing blogging, and they are very active. So this is how I fell in love with pathways. But what I learned from this experience is, that is what I want to share. There are 2 things in Toastmasters. Each one of you sitting over here, we are all members in a club, right? Everybody agrees we are all members in a club, okay? Every member, and Toastmaster follows an inverted pyramid, which says that members are at the top. So there are only 2 things when it comes to Toastmasters members. One is your club. Second is your curriculum. Period. But most of the people are more attached to the club. I am also the same. I am very much attached to the club. But let me put this argument in front of you. You can change your club, but you cannot change your curriculum. So does it make sense to be a bit more proactive and learn about your existing curriculum? If it makes sense, raise your hands just by your emojis. Thank you very much. So now think about this. The club experience depends upon the membership, the members, your ExCom officers, and a lot of other things. But with your curriculum, if you are thorough with your curriculum, something changes. And that is what I learned. People who are good and know the curriculum, the way they show up in the meeting is different. Because that is what I have learned, that when you are thorough with your curriculum, or at least comfortable with your curriculum, The way you show up in your meetings is completely different. You know when somebody is speaking about something, this part, this is that is that. You completely are in sync with that. So my challenge to all of you is to be comfortable with entire pathways. Now I can give you the pathways presentation in 1 minute, less than 1 minute. In pathways, there are 11 paths. There are 5 levels. Level 1 is same across all the 11 paths. Level 2 is almost same, understanding your communication, understanding your leadership style. Level 3, level 4, level 5 are unique to each path, and you have a lot of optional projects. There are only 2 types of project, mandatory and elective projects. Period, done. Pathways is done. There is nothing more. Right? But what I want to tell you today is how to become more comfortable with your curriculum. And this is what I want to tell you. If you go on to www.toastmasters.org, enter, you can see your name on the center. Welcome, Brahm. Welcome, Nikita. When you click on that, and then you click on your club, go to the pathways, go to the base camp, you see your pathways, then you see speech evaluation. If you click on the speech evaluation and scroll down, in total, you can see there are 68 evaluation resources. What it means, the entire 11 pathways has got less than 68 projects. Entire 11 paths. So my challenge to you today is, from today, every day, spend just 10 minutes on each evaluation resource. Just 10 minutes on each evaluation resource. In 60 days, you will be comfortable with entire curriculum of pathways, not only your path. You can do it by opening your own path, and detailed, you can go into that. But what I felt beneficial was when I told this to new members. When a new member joins and when I tell them that you can do this, and after 60 days, when they came back to me, they showed up in a different way from 3rd month in clubs. They were much prepared, and this pathways program is self-directed. So we need to tell the new members, because most of us are new advanced members over here. I will give you this as a challenge, that pick a new member from your home club and tell them, and you can also do that if you have not done. Every day, just give 10 minutes to one project, read one evaluation resource. That's it. In 60 days, you will go through entire pathways. What I did was, I did that in 1 day. I sat 8 hours. When I got the access to as a base camp manager in pathways, as a pathways guide, I fell in love and went through entire pathways in 8 hours straight, midnight. But I would not like to give that advice to anybody else. Just 10 minutes, anybody can do that. And if you do that, I can challenge most of the new members will surprise you with the preparation after 3 months. Many members are here from 5 years, 10 years, Brahm, 26 years, right? So the way we show up in a meeting would be completely different if we are very thorough with our curriculum. That is the message that I want to share with you. So now find a student, be a teacher, and then let the teacher be the student. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Vinod. Excellent speech. And we then again learned a lot. Today is the day of learning. And our next speaker, I don't have to introduce him because I already did it today. And because he is a Toastmaster over 25 years. So we all know him very well, Brahm. And it just shows a Toastmaster program that even though you are a Toastmaster for over 25 years, you still have to do icebreakers. And that's what he will do in his second speech today. His evaluator is Francoise Bowen. And please, Francoise, let us know what Bram's topic and goals today.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster of the day. As they say in Toastmasters wear what? Many hats, right? Okay. and I will be reading to you Toastmaster CGD purpose, the purpose statement of his icebreaker, which is in strategic relationship. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce himself or herself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. The title of CGD Brahm Memore speech is entitled, What the Heck? The virtual lesson is now yours, CGD Brahm Memore.
Thank you very much, Francois. So I like to introduce our speaker, Brahm Memore. What a heck? What a heck? Brahm Memore.
Exactly. What the heck? I'm going to tell you all about my history. Why am I here now today, speaking to you currently in this form, in this forum? Why am I even existing? And what brings me? Well, the past, way, I could go off the screen, way back, over there somewhere. It all started perhaps 150,000 years ago. But you know, that is a history that goes back too far back. But why 150,000 years ago? Because science tells us that the very first human being, when they did the DNA sequencing and traced it back, there was one female somewhere in the northern Kenya, Ethiopia area, who is the mother of all of us. Yeah, that is right. The very first human being that was able to have all of us, 7.8 billion of us right now on this planet. We are not going to go into that. Impossible to sort of comprehend it. But then we go back to 600 years ago, where my ancestors came from, Sindh. That is right. There was no India, there was no Pakistan, there was no map like this 600 years ago, but my ancestors came from this place over there, Sindh. Let's look at this closely. What happened is, in those 600 years ago, they decided, my ancestors were crazy, they decided to go to a place in Manvi. Why? I have no idea. I don't understand why they would do something like that. I mean, they could have stayed there. I mean, perhaps there was, I don't know, pressure, political pressure, religious pressure, God knows what pressure, what was, or economics, you name it, right? And so they went to this place called Manvi, which is in Gujarat currently. Now, Manvi is known for sailors who actually were very good at sailing, and they could navigate at night, and they actually even took Vasco da Gama from in the Indian Ocean to a place called Goa, somewhere around here, right? And that's how the Portuguese reached East India. So those sailors, of course, and my ancestors were in Manvi for a couple of 100 years. And then 200 years ago, again, something got into the head. And what did they do? They decided they would go to Africa, and they ended up in a place called Mombasa 200 years ago. Now, can you imagine 200 years ago? Let me tell you, there were no ocean liners. What did they travel through? This little boat here called a dhow. That's right. Let's have a look at it closer. This is the boat they traveled in. I'm telling you, my ancestors were crazy. Who could travel in a boat like this? Huh? On the Indian Ocean with one sail, it's called a dhow, D-H-O-W, dhow. That's how it's pronounced. And they traveled thousands of miles on the Indian Ocean and ended up somewhere in Africa. That's what I said, you know. We don't know where we came from and where we are headed. I don't know what our ancestors did. I'm a product of the tides coming in and out, our ancestors with their circumstances and their thinking and what they wanted for themselves and what they did. And we are a product of that. We have to be very careful about our environment and what we think about the future, because who knows what our descendants will be doing and where they will be and how they will be thousands of years from today, even 200 years from today. We have no idea. So we have to be careful about where we're going, what we're doing, what we're saying. I don't know if my ancestors were pirates. I don't know if they jumped overboard. I don't know if they killed somebody and threw them overboard. I have no idea. Really, sometimes we think our ancestors were great and we always like to think that they were like awesome. I have no idea. Really, to think of it, do you have any idea? Like your ancestors 500 years ago, what they were doing? Who knows? I'm not saying that your ancestors were murderers, and I don't know mine either, but who knows what they were up to in these sort of little boats traveling the Indian Ocean. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if I can move away, this is where they ended up, in this little port over here. And then guess what? They were still very crazy. And what they did was they actually, there was no trains, there was no transportation. Perhaps they went by foot along the paths and they traveled all over hundreds of miles. And my mom was born in a place called Mwanza. My dad was born in Mombasa. And because my ancestors were traveling all over Africa in the middle of nowhere, you know, part of my family is Black. Like from my mother's side, you know, my second cousins removed, they are Black. They're Africans and they're very close together, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, I would say and contend that you never know where you're coming from and where you're going because of where your ancestry was and how you're made up and your thinking and who you are. So you really have to examine yourself and be looking inside yourself and say, who are you really as a human being, as a sentient being, and be spacious and be spacious and be here in the presence of something bigger, because in the future, your descendants, who knows where they will end up, and it all depends on what you will say, what you're doing now, and what you will leave behind as a legacy. That is all for my icebreaker today. It's all about my ancestry and where I've come from and where I am and how I've ended up in Canada. How I ended up in Canada, very quickly, I went from Nairobi, where I used to be. I did my degree there. I went to England and became a chartered accountant. And then they wanted chartered accountants in Canada because there was a shortage of chartered accountants. I came here on a work permit and then I've stayed here. I've been here for 33 years in Canada. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Wow, thank you very much, Brahm, for the history. It was very interesting and wonderful. And that said, it did make me think of my ancestry. And just so all of you know, I am a descendant of Attila the Hun, who is one of the most vicious leaders in history. So just beware. And that said, I would like to call our timer to do his timer's report.
Yes, and Madam Toastmaster of the day, I must apologize for my Fractious computer because right in the middle of Vinod's speech, well, no, not in the middle, in the last minute or two of Vinod's speech, my computer died. It just shut down. And you saw me come briefly back online with my phone, which was a sort of a stopgap to try and get things working again. So these times are not as accurate as I would normally do. I'm going to start off. Brahm, in his leadership speech, spoke for 12 minutes and 35 seconds. Vinod, as near as I can guess, he was approaching the end of his speech when my computer died. So I'm guessing it was around 9 minutes and 51 seconds, which is under the 10 minutes that he had targeted. And Brahm's speech that he just finished, and again, I missed the very beginning of it. So I'm again guessing, but I'm pretty sure it was close to 6 minutes and 4 seconds. And that is my limited report, such as it is. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Bud, and you are forgiven. Your technological challenges, we all have them. I know very well. And that said, we are ending the first part of our meeting. We are taking a 5 minutes break and see you back at 10:25. Please, timer, make notes of that. Thank you very much.
Hi, Vinod, I'm curious about your 8 hours that you took. Did you have any sleep at all?
Hi, Nazim.
Hi,
No,
how are you?
all
I
well, all well.
love your presentation. I wish I am going to take up the challenge right away. I'm going to start
Amazing.
as of today to pick up the challenge because I am not versatile with technology, but I would love to learn.
Also taking up the challenge.
You know,
Amazing.
I was totally against pathways when it first started because I'm a paper person, I'm a book person, right? But I think you can get so much more out of pathways than a book. And it thrills me now because I learn a lot more from it. There's videos in there. There's all kinds of more information than we used to get in our traditional books. And I just really, really like it. I still don't find it's the easiest system to use, but to me, it's amazing. Like to me, when I look at each pathway, it's like a little online university curriculum.
Well, I must preface what I said before, because I have been studying sales management and self-improvement for over 4 decades. And I have been in an environment, fortunately, where it is very structured. And I've gone through a lot of different mentors with structured learning. And when I saw pathways, I said, this is the future. I had no doubt about it. So I was mesmerized by it, but I immersed myself into it. So I'll let you answer that question still, Vinod.
No, actually, Anja is right when she says every project in Pathways has got its own manual. In the old curriculum, you had P10 for the competent communicator, one manual. But in Pathways, every project has, that means Icebreaker has a manual. Every project has got a manual. That much intensive research has been done. And along with that, quizzes, videos, and amazing videos are there. I don't think many members go through and watch the videos, but there are some really amazing videos in this. So let us explore that, I would say.
Got to endorse what you just said, Vinod. The videos are amazing.
Yes. And they have put a lot of research. It is very, it only, for me, what my learning was, when it launched, there were a lot of senior members. And for them, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5 was not something which is going up the ladder, because for them, they had already done all these things. So they were like, what is level 1, level 2? And why are you blocking? Earlier, it was blocked. So that type of voice. But I think it's already happening. In next 1 or 2 years, new members don't have issues because they don't understand what is competent communicator, ECG, and all those things. So now it is fine. Everyone is like what you say, comfortable with the curriculum.
I agree with you. It's very progressive. It's step by step by step, and I love it. I love the structure.
People don't like change, right? So the old members are really resisting. They still do. I mean, if you go to Facebook, Toastmasters National Group, there's lots of negative stuff all the time, continuously, about the same thing over and over and over.
But some people just don't want to change, right? They don't realize what they're doing by not wanting to change.
They can't let go, yeah.
Well, it's the four-legged fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, indecisiveness, and procrastination. Is that four-legged beast that we are faced with every day. And if you're in sales and management like I did and like Vinod did, we learn how to overcome fears by overcoming objection and learning the objection process, how to handle objections. Handling objection is the most critical thing. And unless you can handle objection, there's no clarification, there's no clarity. So there's always disbelief and doubt.
Plus,
yesterday, Brahm was giving
this is a new change for a lot of people.
And gentlemen, we are back. It's time to return to our meeting, and 3 deep breaths, because we need to create space to get more into our bodies, our minds. So deep inhale, exhale through the mouth. Next time you take an inhale, try to push your belly out and not in. And exhale through the mouth. One last one to energize. And exhale through the mouth. Welcome back, and on to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Nikita. I needed this wonderful idea. Thank you. And our next segment is one of our favorite is table topics. So our table topic master today is Sandy Amdin. Please welcome Sandy.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm going to work with the theme today of online presence and also internal presence, which Nikita has been taking every opportunity she has to get us to take a second and breathe or be mindful or present. I would ask you that if you would like to participate in table topics, to either put your name in the chat or use the electronic hand feature, and I will go ahead and choose you. We have 2 participants already that have sent me their names. The timer today will do, I believe we'll do 2 minutes to challenge ourselves. We probably have, I believe, 20 minutes on the agenda. We'll try with the 2 people who sent me their requests first, and we'll begin with Anya. And I would also encourage you to use the word of the day, which is fractious. And it is an adjective and it means grumpy. So fractious. My fractious brother is always complaining about putting out the garbage. There's an example for you. Okay, let's start with Anya.
And
Yes?
let me just make sure everybody understands. I was doing the green background at 1 minute, the yellow background at 1 minute 30 seconds, red background at 2 minutes. We wrap up in the season.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for that. All right, we're going to begin with our senses today. Anya, I want you to imagine that you are outside in your favorite place, and please describe for us what you hear and what you smell.
Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. I love going outside in the spring. Walk in the neighborhoods or walk in the bush. In the summertime or in the springtime when people start cutting their grass, the smell of freshly cut grass, it's so amazing. I walk the dogs in the evening and I smell barbecues everywhere. And I just want to knock at people's houses and say, can you share your delicious food with me? I hear the birds sing and see everything come to life. All the flowers are popping up and everything. Isn't that amazing? Neighbors are out and you can talk to them and you can see people walking their dogs more often, and they get all tangled up with their leashes as they greet each other, and they smell each other. Now, do you know, I'm sorry, I can't help it, talking about smells, When a dog weasels on something, and the next day, so I walk by with the dog and he smells that, and the next day he meets that dog in the park, they know that that was the dog that weaseled on that tree before. Because every time they do that, they put a little excrement out of the back of their butt, I forget what it's called, and that tells them that that's that same dog. So I had to share that. I'm sorry. Most of you know that I'm a pet sitter, so I can't help myself. That's my passion. So back to you, Sandy.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I guess that's just pet groomer talk, right? Okay, we're going to go with, thank you for starting us off, Anya. We're going to go to Ray. And Ray, I would like you to get us to close our eyes and describe for us a drive that you've enjoyed and take us there in the next 2 minutes.
A drive. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, all of you, taking a cue from Nikita, close your eyes, breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose, breathe out with your mouth. Let me take you to California. We're going north. We just arrived in Los Angeles. We're taking a convertible. Don't worry, it'll fit you all. It'll fit everybody. Nobody needs to go into the backseat or rumble seat. And we're going to go take a journey on the Pacific Coast Highway. This is one of the most beautiful areas in the world for me, because when I go north, on the left is the Pacific Ocean with its beauty, with its calmness. Then on the right, I get to see the mountains and I get to see the changes as I drive from the greenery to the forests. And I cross the bridges and how beautiful they are. And let me take you to a place that is just off the Pacific Coast Highway in one of the beaches. We go there, we get off, and we get to not only see the sun and the sand, but the seals taking a sunbath. They got a great idea. I hope you brought your towel and a chair and maybe an umbrella, because we're going to just enjoy a little bit of the sun. But I have to warn you, that ocean in that part of the world is a bit cool. Unless the sun is so hot that you just have to dip your feet into that beautiful Pacific Ocean. I hope you enjoyed the journey, because soon we will pack up and we head on north to San Francisco. And that is my little journey up to one of the favorite places in the world for me. Over to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Wow, this is so much fun. I think I'm going to ask everybody that, especially for people who live elsewhere. Brahm, you are up next. You volunteered. Describe for us a landscape, perhaps a vacation that you were on, so we can go with the theme of take us somewhere, a favorite place of yours, and describe it for us, and we'll be with you.
Thank you very much. As it is, here it is. What a coincidence. That's the landscape. This is where I was born. This is where I grew up. Actually, this is now the hubbub and the bustling small little town where my brother lives currently, and I spend a lot of time there when I go there into Kenya. And this is on a much smaller, this is actually already small. There's just one strip of street where all this is happening in this little town. When I was growing up, when I was a child, it was even smaller and even fewer people around. And this is the landscape that I grew up in here. And it's just amazing and tremendous what you see in this landscape. The sort of people that you meet, the vast different types of landscapes that you can come across as well. So let me just show you the sort of things that hopefully it's still there. If I can, with my presentation, I didn't close it off. So it should be here somewhere. Oops, no, not that. Okay, so, oh, here it is. Bear with me. You know, you want to see the landscapes, right? That I grew up in. And here's this is Mount Kilimanjaro, by the way. Right at the top there is 19,340 feet. How do I know that? This is the highest mountain in Africa and snow covered. You're right, that white thing is snow, or right on the equator. I climbed that mountain, 19,340 feet. When you get up there, the air is so rare. Breathing is very difficult, and you find it difficult to breathe. So when you start out, you know, you're on this plain. This is like 3,000 feet above sea level. So the savanna grassland, you know, miles and miles of just flat land, and then suddenly this mountain up there, and you climb up to 19,000 feet. You can only stay up there, say an hour or so, and then you have to climb down because of the lack of oxygen, and you don't want to kill yourself. All right, and you have to train a lot before you can even climb up there. You know, you have to be strong, you have to be healthy, you have to have a good red blood cell count. You know, you got to start running and lifting weights and so on, and so that you are fit to climb up there. It takes about 3-4 days to climb up, but half a day to climb down. Why? Because you just run down the mountain. Incredible, isn't it? And so I suggest everyone go and climb Mount Kilimanjaro if you've never done that, or of course, go to the surrounding area. Like this is the Serengeti National Park, where you see lions and also the wildlife that is in Africa. It's just amazing what Africa is and what it has to offer. If you've never been to Africa, you don't know what you're missing. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Wow, I loved using the visuals as well as the quieting the mind. I think you must have been quite a fractious character at the top of that mountain, Brahm, without much oxygen. Our next speaker volunteer is our Sergeant at Arms today, Nikita Winkler. And I know two things about Nikita. She's either from or used to live in Namibia and now is in Spain. So I would like her to paint a picture of either place for us, and you have 2 minutes to do so. You're on.
By show of hands, who of you have been to Namibia? Wow, you are missing out on Africa's secret. Namibia has 2.5 million inhabitants, a country as big as 824,000 square kilometers. It is a huge country, not very populated, spacious, vast, open, beautiful. I call it my Namibia. And I am a desert jewel from my Namibia. If you haven't seen my back yet, I have a tattoo of Africa with Namibia shaded. I carry my Namibia all across the world because of its spaciousness. When I came to Spain, all of a sudden, everything was tall buildings, narrow streets. I was claustrophobic. I thought I would love the experience coming to Europe. They lied to us. Africa is where it is. Namibia is where it is. It's where I feel something no other place in the world has made me felt. And yes, I've been many places in the world. When I asked a friend once, what culture shocks did you experience in Namibia? He said, specifically referring to Windhoek, the capital city where I am from. He said he was shocked at how ghostly the city felt when he arrived. It must have been on a Sunday because there's just absolutely nobody on the streets on a Sunday. But let me paint you the picture. And I wish I had the technology that Brahm has, because wow. But guess what? You have technology, you have the internet, and I encourage you to do some research on Namibia. I can't see the timer, so I'm going to keep going because I can continue talking about Namibia and my city, Windhoek, that is in a valley surrounded by mountains. It is 1,500 meters above sea level. I go to the mountains here and it's not even as high as my city. And it's a red. So do your research and you are invited to my Namibia.
Wow. I'm going to book my flight. You are really committed to your country. I'm so happy I asked you that question. Thank you for sharing. And I will do some research. Lots of homework happening here today by our speakers, and the challenges go on. I would like to now ask any of our guests if they would like to participate. And I don't know you well enough to know who's a guest. Oh, there. Brahm, would you like to participate?
Yes, I did have my hands up, but got lowered somehow.
Well, I apologize, and you, sir, have the floor now. I know absolutely nothing about you, and I want you to describe your favorite book or one of the books that sticks with you that you remember reading. Just what is your favorite book? And again, if you can, try to take us into it somehow.
Madam TTM, fellow Toastmasters, reading a book has been in the past. Nowadays, I experience it through video. Things have transitioned to a different way of doing things now. I find that I do read some of the other things. One of the things that intrigued me was the story of Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, the freedom fighter of India. At the age of 12, I read that he got married. A very, very young age. Would you say, whoa, he got married? And just a little while into the marriage, the parents thought that perhaps he should go for further studies. Where should he go? He went to England. That was the time that England was colonizing India. And that was very, 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 very different for him. He took law degree in England, and that was recognized world over. Very, very powerful. And the book goes on to describe his journey. His name is not only Gandhi. His name is Mohan Karamchand Gandhi. He loved his bride. Somehow he was not into the marriage life, but he proceeded on to England. And then when he tried to find a job in England, that was sort of challenging because of not being able to speak the right tone or have the etiquette in terms of dealing with the Britishers. Then he thought, why not go to another place called South Africa? So he took the journey to South Africa. And there he connected with the Indian population. And when he was in South Africa, he connected with so many other types of people there, and he could practice law very in the community. And then he knew about a movement that was just beginning in India. He said to himself that why not go back to my place of birth? And that was India. And when he came back, he went to Mumbai, called Bombay before, and people welcomed him and welcomed him because they thought that he could bring about change. And one of the things that people should remember that Gandhi did not preach violence, but rather nonviolence. And his teachings went through, if you look, the book tells you that Mahatma Gandhi's teachings were used by many individuals through the peaceful movement. Dr. King, as well as South Africa's independence. Many individuals got peaceful. It is not through violence. But today, there are so much violence that's happening in the name of in the name of protest. If you look at the TV and the right channels, you'll find them. But that is a book I read and that I could resonate with. It's a great book to read, Mahatma Gandhi and his life. And there are many quotations, and it's hard to do that in 2 minutes. Back to you, Madam Tabletop Master.
Thank you so much for that teaching and reminder about Mahatma Gandhi. Thank you. I believe what time are we supposed to wrap up? Just let me check here.
We have time for one more at least.
One more. Ooh, okay, let me see. Nobody has. Linda, you are a guest. Would you like to participate?
I'm going to pass this time, but thank you for the offer.
Okay. I don't see any hands up. Is it Uzma?
Uzma, yes.
I'll pass. Sorry.
You'll pass as well.
Yeah.
My goodness. Nazim?
Yes, Sandy, I'll take you on.
Wonderful. I love your attitude. I'll take you on.
I want to climb Mount Everest.
Well, tell us about one of the things you have done that to you perhaps feels as remarkable as climbing Mount Everest, and take us to that moment or that time. And you have 2 whole minutes, so take your time.
1987, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. 1987, Monday, October 19, was the crash, the huge crash on the stock market, the biggest crash we ever had in recorded history. And I was just studying for my securities exam, and every one of my friends were against me or did not like me entering into the stock market because they thought I'll be selling stocks and bonds and securities. But I had a different view because I went to a company. Fortunately, I'm wearing this today because I consider it my uniform. This represents PRI, Primerica, on the New York Stock Exchange. And I had an opportunity to be in business for myself, to run my own business, be my own boss, and have total freedom. And after 10 years, I was fortunate enough to eliminate $150,000 in debts, and on my way to become financially independent. It was my greatest achievement then, but 13 years later, in 2013, I was called into Atlanta, Georgia, in the Superdome, and was granted ownership of my business because I had the autonomy to do what I want. When I started, I was this fractious person, didn't believe or anything of the sort, but my greatest accomplishment was to be my own boss, run my own show, and own my ownership with Primerica. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much. Our time is up. Thank you for taking us home, Nazim. I think whoever creates the word of the day, I love that word autonomy, maybe for a future meeting. Would you kindly, I believe Brahm is going to put a poll up, or somebody behind the scenes, not me, to vote for your there we go. Look at that, how magic happens. If you would please vote for your best table topic speaker today, and we will report that back at the end of the meeting, which I believe is soon. I'm working from not an agenda here, but I believe it's the general evaluator that comes up next.
But not quite yet, but
not quite yet. Okay, sorry.
Thank you very much, Sandy,
thank
for the table topic. They were very interesting questions. And before our general evaluator, I would like to call on Timer for his timers report.
Hear me right there. Can I be heard? Apparently I have no sound.
Yeah, we can hear you in pieces.
Okay, give me a second here. I'm just going to try and fix this before. Did you?
I guess we are for go with your timing report at this time, and I would like to hand over the leading of the next part of the meeting.
Can you hear me now?
Better. Yes, people, go ahead. No, it's not working. So, all right. Maybe by the end of the meeting, you'll be able to do it. So I like to hand over the leading of the meeting, the second part, to our general evaluator, Ray Rivero. Please welcome, Ray.
Thank you very much, Mariana. And today, I will be turning over part of the meeting to our evaluators, but just to be sure, I believe because of the way that we started to organize that, we actually have 4 evaluations. Let's see, the first one is Francois Bowen for, sorry about this, for Brahm's first speech. And then we actually had by chance accident, Luz Sanchez Perez for her, and I didn't get the second evaluator for Vinod's speech, and then I didn't catch the name of the third evaluator for Brahm's second speech. Can someone remind me who the evaluator is for Brahm's? I'm sorry. Francois. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. First of all, you have a pretty busy agenda. Why don't we go ahead and evaluate Brahm's first speech?
Thank you so much. And it's a great pleasure for me to be sitting 2 times. All right. I'm hoping that I stay because my internet's been logging me out on and off. So I'm going to try and make it as quickly as possible. The first thing from our first speaker on the lesson was very well put together, and you shared with us the use of the how to use visual aid successfully with the lights. And I'm telling you, while you were speaking, I was like, oh my gosh, let me get my lights proper. So I have 2 lights up, and I don't know if I'm I'm like, let me put my 2 lights up quickly. Let's see if it's working well. But you know what? It hit home. Got to have your lights proper. And you shared definitely what and how and the why. And I'm grateful for that. All the viewers and listeners, they were definitely on the edge of their seat watching you. There was, I didn't even think I saw any eyes blink, but everyone was tuned into your speech presentation. And so media that you can use, you gave the information on, and it's like, like, okay. Okay, but the of it, because if you didn't have the icon, you're gonna be like, what is he talking about? Because everybody said So thank you so much for providing it. And thank you so much for your speech. Thank you. And I will now pause until I'm called back a second time to give the icebreaker speech evaluation.
Thank you, Francois, for that, for your evaluation. Very, very thorough. Next, our next evaluator will be Maria Sanchez Perez for her evaluation of Vinod's speech.
Vinod, thank you so much. I have the honor to evaluate you today in understanding your communication style. The things that I liked about your speech is that you started with a very strong statement about the student and the teacher. You had good eye contact, good standing presence in the center of the screen. You had good lighting because I could see you perfectly. The heart of your speech was to share your experience on the curriculum of Pathway and how you saw the opportunity when others resisted. You also ended with a strong statement, and you circle the statement of the student teacher. You said, be the student, be the teacher. Let the student be the teacher. And you definitely were focused on the subject. The two things that I would like to suggest for you to improve your speech is that you slow down a little bit when you're explaining about the pathways, the number of pathways and the levels. For a person that is advanced in Toastmasters, it is easy to digest, but may not be for a person that is just starting pathways. So in that's a very, very, very important to understand and for people to get it. So I would suggest about that. In conclusion, your speech was a success because you persuaded members to check the curriculum and the evaluations. And the proof was that two members were speaking about it after your speech. Thank you so much for allowing me to evaluate you today. And I look forward to the next stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Maria de Luz Sanchez Perez. And then finally, we're going to go straight to Brahm's second speech. And guess what? Francois has got double duty and is going to give another evaluation. So just like Brahm doing double duty on speeches, Francois will give a double duty evaluation. So please, Francois, take it away.
All right, thank you so much. And the speech for Brahm's icebreaker was that you excel at introducing yourself boldly through your family background. Our ancestors' movements, when we sit and review whatever information we can find about them, ties in with their speech title. What the heck? The use of visual aided speeches always help listeners and viewers. Keep it up. What you may want to work on, speaking a little slower for the information to sink in with your audience. All of us are guilty in meetings or events that we don't want to go over time. So we're like that. And to challenge yourself, pause at some points to let a well-noted statement register well. Sometimes we repeat a point, then flow right into a new paragraph of our prepared speech, and the viewer, the listener, did not catch the golden part. And sometimes the what you call it, you give a particular point, and it's like you gave that aha moment. And just when it said, you're not able to get the ha-ha, I need the ha-ha. Then the listener or the viewer didn't get it. So sometimes it's nice to just pause at a highlighted golden nugget so that the viewer or listener can receive it. And it happened to all of us. So my evaluation, even I'm giving this evaluation to my speaker, it's for all of us because we're guilty of it. We are guilty of it. And this wraps up my evaluation for today. Thank you. The virtual lecture is back over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Francois. Next, I would like to get the timer. Can we get the times for our evaluators, please? You can either mention it live or you can put that in the chat. But I believe you've been muted by a Fractious computer.
Yes, but he put the results in the chat part already.
Right, for table topics.
Yeah.
There he is, evaluation times. I spoke too soon. Thank you very much, Bud. And I hope the computer is not as fractious the next time. Our next portion of my evaluation will be our grammarian, Ajar Khan. Ajar, can you please present to us what type of filler words did we use and how well did we use the language today?
Thank you, General Evaluator. Today, I listened very carefully to all speakers. They come to the stage, they spoke very well, and they spoke very good use of grammar. And I didn't recognize anyone say that long sentence. But it's a beautiful coincidence. If I talk about the word of the day, Brahm used 4 to 5 times. I used to 4 to 5 times, and Janet Evaluator used 3 to 4 times. But the rest of other speakers and evaluator did not use the Fractious. So it's a partial total against of report my expectation, but no issue. Everyone is good, and I appreciate to all guys. Back to you, Janet Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Azar. Can we have a poll for selecting the best speaker and followed by that of the best evaluator, please? I don't envy any of us who has to select a best speaker. These were 3 very good speeches. I'm almost feel ashamed that we have to pick a winner. Or do we? Do we have any results for our best speaker yet? While we're waiting, I'll start. There we are, best speaker. Congratulations, Brahm, for your speech visual aids. I realize that you had 2 chances out of 3, but congratulations are in hand regardless. And finally, can we get the poll for their best evaluator?
If you can wait for about a minute, you can go ahead and do the rest of that, and then I'll put that up.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Let's see, we started the meeting on time. We welcomed our guests and we introduced the word of the day and our theme. Our Sergeant at Arms went through our club mission statement and introduced us directly to the Toastmaster of the day. And we also had the display of the word by our grammarian and posted promptly in chat, but has had problems with his speaker. It didn't take anything away from the role. He just had a very fractious computer that decided at the very last moment and throughout the meeting to mute his voice. So, but it's not your fault that you have a very fractious computer. We had 3 very good speeches today, and I really enjoyed them personally very, very much. And let's see, we also had very engaging table topics. We went on journeys today, or to California, to Kenya, to Namibia, and we even had a little explanation about the Mahatma Gandhi. Thank you very much for that. And Anya, one of our guests, thank you very much for participating. And we would also filled in our roles as best we could at the very last minute, which is something that we need to work upon, is making sure that we have our roles filled prior to the beginning of the meeting, because it does take time away from conducting a better meeting. I also love Nikita's breathing exercises. That was very helpful for all of us. And yes, that gave me an idea for my table topic speeches. Thank you, Nikita. Also, after we do each speech, we should give about a minute of silence for our evaluators to do their, give them time to do an evaluation. And with that, I would like to see if we can get up their poll for voting the best evaluator. I also want to add, Ajar, thank you very much for stepping into the role of the grammarian. It is, to me, it's not an easy position to fill, because of the we have to catch all the filler words that we speak by accident or undeliberately, but also to keep track of the words of the day that we use, and maybe some very good use of phrases that grab our attention. So thank you very much for stepping into that role. Do we have any results yet for best evaluator? And we do have a winner, Luz Sanchez. Thank you very much. Congratulations. And with that, I will turn the meeting back over to our Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ray. And before we go any forward, I would like to invite back Vinod Panicker. He is a chair of our election, which is coming up next week. So please give us all the information we need to know for our upcoming election. Please welcome Vinod.
Thank you very much, Mariana. Now, every year, Toastmasters gives at a club level an opportunity for 7 members to take up the executive committee position. And one would be the immediate past president. In just 2 months, we have the opportunity for 8 roles. So till now, whoever has sent the nomination, just let me share the screen. Is it visible? Okay, just give me a second. Yeah, so this is not the actual position that of nominations. This is intentionally kept blank. Okay. And I don't know why is it not moving. So let me again do that. Just have patience and do the same exercise what Nikita had shown. 3 times, just breathe in.
You need
Okay. Let me try one more time. Yes. So leadership speak, club number 7969201, division 86, division district 86, division T, area 91, a club that has created, I think, one of the records during this such times, becoming distinguished, and give a big round of applause first of all to the existing ExCom, to all the officers. And till now, this is the status of nominations what we have received. For president, we have Brahm and Fractious, if I am pronouncing the name correct. Vice President, Mariana. Vice President Membership, Dinesh. Vice President Public Relation, Ray. Treasurer, Mary Lou. Secretary is one position that we are currently missing, but someone has told me that give me time till Monday, I will confirm. So I will keep it over there. But as we had agreed that 7th, whoever had nominated themselves, we will be showing it to the club. So that's why I am presenting this report. And Sergeant at Arms, my Namibia lover, Nikita, our current Sergeant at Arms. So this is the current status. And as it is a club election, there is no restriction in standing from floor. Because it's the first year, I will not push much, or usually I make sure that for every position there are at least three people standing, because that shows the health of the club. But because it's just 2 months old, it was much better that if the current ExCom could continue, because they have done some work and which can continue, and we all are there to assist them. So this is the current position, and I would request you, if anybody of you would like to be the assistant or would like to be a secretary or would stand from floor for any other position, please do that. Let us fight for each and every position, and then let us fight for helping our members grow. So I would end with what yesterday I was attending Brahm's education session in China, some club, I don't remember the club, but there was a Chinese girl who said something very amazing. She said she learned something, instead of let it go, you have to let it grow. So that's, I write a lot of notes whenever I attend any meetings. So that is something that I took from yesterday's meeting, and from today's meeting, it's full of leaders. Stand from the floor if you wish. Assist. Our VPPR already had sent the forms, but if you want, please do stand, and let's make this club one of the most healthiest club in the world. That's what I would like to wish. Thank you very much, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day or the president. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vinod. And now I would like to invite our guest forward to say something about themselves or our meeting, where they see us go, or will they join us eventually. So can I ask Anya? You are muted yet?
Thank you, Mariana. It was a really great meeting. I really enjoyed it. Great speeches. I loved the table topics. I just was a little sad that I didn't get one vote, but I can totally imagine after all these people that spoke about their vacations that my dog measling on the tree wouldn't get a vote. But I just, I have a suggestion for you. I came because I wanted to really learn more about the topic today. For a club where Brahm is in the leadership, I was really disappointed that your agenda was so discombobbled. So I would really suggest, and this could probably come from Sandy, she used that at one of my clubs. I would really suggest that everybody has an agenda in front of them and that you know what's coming and what everybody needs to expect. Yeah, so I was really surprised about that. But other than that, the meeting was awesome. I really liked the presentations, the evaluations, and the table topics. So keep on going and keep on growing. You're doing a great job.
Thank you very much. And yes, we do work on that schedule to be finalized before the meeting. It's unfortunately not always happens, but we are striving to be better. Thank you. And our next guest is Ram. Would you like to talk to us?
Madam Toastmaster, it's been a very good experience in the times that I've attended this. But first and foremost, I want to wish all the mothers a happy Mother's Day. And some of us, yeah, those are going to be the biggest celebration there is. And enjoy your Mother's Day, dinner and gifts, etc. It's been a good experience to come every week or now whenever I can in attending a meeting. This is a great club. Not good club, not a very good club, but a great club. That makes a difference. The two speeches, or the speeches that were memorable. I liked Vinod's idea of just pathways, in loving pathways. Because when it was first introduced, people hated it. And they still continue to do that. About maybe 25% of the old timers who've been around for a while, they have not embraced that as much as they could. But, however, we must move on. You made it very simple. And Brahm took us to a journey from all the way from India and all the way to Africa. That was quite memorable and with pictures. And it is said that pictures are worth 1,000 words. And by depicting all those stories into a picture, it really resonates with the people. I liked being in a meeting today. Always learning, always moving forward. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Ram, and you're always welcome. Nazim, would you like to say a few words?
Certainly. Thank you very much for the opportunity. First of all, I'd like to thank Brahm for consistently inviting me. Can you hear me? Right. For consistently inviting me. And the thing about that invite, it encourages me to build a relationship with him, first of all. And then getting to know each one of you is just amazing because I'm truly interested in building relationship, long-term relationship. And since this club has begun and the vision is to build a world-class club, I think you're on the right path. And the people are, as one of the great books I read, Good to Great, he said, make sure that you have the right people on the bus. The people on the bus here are the right type of people I would like to associate with. And I think you're on track to go from good to great with the proper guidance and each one of your contribution. I truly, including Ram, I know Ram a little while too, but building relationship is my most important reason for being here. And thank you so much again, Ram. And Brahm, sorry. Thank you, Brahm, for inviting me.
Thank you very much, Nazim. And I hope you saw the message that we have a new Zoom link next week. So just keep your eyes on it and don't try to connect us in the old one. And I would like to ask our members, anybody would like to share something about today's meeting or next meeting, past meeting? Yes, Brahm, please.
I'd like to share something. From next week, we have a different link to Zoom. The past couple of months, we've been using Zoom from my club growth director's Zoom link. And now the club has got its own Zoom account. So we'll be shifting it. So there'll be a new link. So you have to re-register for that link. And that link was posted by Ray in the chat. And Ray, if you can repost it so people can see that, you have to go register. Either today or you'll be sent that link anyways. And all the guests and everyone, the whole thing is being shifted into a new account. So please do register on the new link, because the club growth account, link will be closed down because it's only meant for club growth activities. And so we've helped this club, as I'm talking now as a club growth director, we've helped this club, your club, to succeed. All the best in the new link, and hopefully you'll grow your club faster. Now, is talking as part of leadership speak? Yes, awesome. Let's do it. This is today. A lot of members are away because they're from all over the world. They're away in any different district conferences. That's why the membership number is very low. It's low today. That was expected. But from next week, we'll be rebuilding, and you'll see the normal without the confusions and all that stuff happening because of the lack of speakers and evaluators. They're all away at different conferences, they will be back. Actually, next week is the club election, so we have to have quorum. So I suggest that every one of you do attend, and those people who are not here, hopefully they will attend as well, so that we have quorum. Thank you very much. Back to Toastmaster.
Thank you, Brahm. Anybody would like to say something about today's meeting? Or
Yes, please. I have my hand up here. Let me just.
Yes, please, Nikita.
Okay, spotlight. I'm gonna do a little sandwich approach in what I would like to share. I really appreciated the presence of Brahm in terms of seeing the need in the club for us to understand what he is doing with such excellence, his presentation skills. I appreciate that you taught us a little bit of the things we've been so curious to know. On the other hand, with regards to the evaluations today, I felt that the evaluations were not very strong. I don't know why, but I felt that the sandwich approach was not, so that there was a lot of praise of what has been great in the club meeting today. But for us to keep growing, I would like to suggest that when we do evaluations, whether general evaluations, that we do keep our focus on the things that can help the club grow. And that is all I have to say. Other than that, it's always a pleasure being here. It's always a pleasure hosting everyone. Keep breathing, keep growing, and keep glowing.
Thank you very much, Nikita. Anybody else would like to speak before we close the meeting? Anya, did I see you?
No, I'm just waving. I have to leave.
Right.
Have a great weekend. Bye.
So thank you very much for everyone to attending our meeting. And if you want, you can stay after the meeting is ends for a little discussion. Please, Nikita, keep running our Zoom meeting for a few more minutes.
Thank you, Mariana, and thank everyone for indulging me today. I sincerely enjoyed it. Thanks again, Brahm, and see you, and all the best. All in best for your new selection next week. I hope you are successful.
Thank you.
Always looking forward to your leadership. And I have to second the motion with Nikita Winkler's comments lastly, because I think today it was a little bit turbulent. That's that's putting it easy. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye, Nazim.
All right, here we are. Members only club.
Yes, yes. And well, I survived my first Toastmaster of the day. And yes, it was terrible.
Well done.
Wow.
And hopefully next time will be better. And yeah, I do strive to improve.
You are a bit nervous. but
Amazing
that's
job.
A bit, yes, it's an understatement. Thank you. But that's partially because my technology wasn't working then again as I was expecting it to work. But I do have to watch your presentation again to make sure I get everything out of it. It's possible.
The other thing is you're using, but you're using a
Yes.
white background and the lighting isn't right on your face. So
Yeah,
you're using, you're not using a green screen. So
yes, I don't have a green screen yet.
I'll set that up for you, no worries.
I downloaded, but I don't know how to use it. So that thing is integrated itself to Zoom, but I cannot control it. So it's worse than before, but hopefully by next weekend I can figure it out.
Absolutely. Vinod, thank you so much for being the nomination chair. You did a great job. So we've filled almost all the roles except one. That was a lot of work, I believe. So thank you very much for that. Yeah.
Right, in an advanced club, actually, it is much easier. Leaders step up and do that. Usually in a new club,
Yes.
because I told like every year 3-4 clubs I take this thing, we have to do a lot of callings, a lot of percentage. But here it's an advanced club, so it's an advantage. So people just step up. So that is amazing that how people want to serve, members want to serve. And I'm looking forward for an amazing year.
Yeah, the thing is, also I've been very busy as the club growth director, and the conference just ended a couple of weeks ago, and it was a very busy time. So now that I have more time to sort of talk to members and start to sort of build the self-directed leaders that we need, right, in the club. We have quite a number of them as self-directed, and then there's some who are not even attending for quite a while. They paid the money, they're not attending. So I'm wondering what's going on with them. So hopefully we'll get them on board and then get engaged. So hopefully we'll have a good quorum next week. I know there's a number of people who are inactive members, so they won't count towards the quorum. So we'll see. Madam Secretary is also not part of the quorum. She hasn't been coming for a few weeks. So I don't know if she's inactive apparently. So we will have to.
Yeah, I reached out to her. She is having a conference today, and which is a 90 minutes drive from her house. But she said she will get back to me.
Yeah, Granny B was voted in that they're having a conference. She's a division director. Erica started there.
Yes.
Erica, so. Yeah.
Do we have a Toastmaster for next week yet?
I don't know if anyone's taken that role. If not, anyways, it could be Vinod, and we'll have a.
I was thinking of Vinod that since he's.
I would like to do general evaluation next week,
Excellent.
if possible.
Nikita is on a mission to straighten us out.
Yeah.
It's an advanced club after all, so.
Claro, sí, por eso.
Claro. I like what you were saying, Nikita, about how we need to work on our roles like evaluations. For me, whenever I try to do the role the first time, I know it's going to be bumpy. It's like ironing a very wrinkled shirt.
Yes.
It's like, this is a very wrinkled shirt I'm trying to iron out when I take on the role, and I know it's not good. All the wrinkles are never going to be ironed out the first time. I don't know if I can use it with an iron. I don't know if I need a steamer. I don't know if I need both, but I do need to try. So, and claro. And it's, and but the only way that I'm going to improve is just take a deep dive and try it. And if it comes out wrong, then now I'm going to do something to learn better. but it always takes practice. I'm never going to do it right the first time. I've accepted that. So
Oh, yes. I
do the dive and try it again until I get comfortably right enough to just do it.
absolutely.
Thank you for the inspiration. I'm going to try it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna
Right.
go in with the steamer and the iron.
Right.
Or those old school iron, because old school never fails, eh?
Yeah, you're gonna have to warm that up somehow, you know, put it over the coals or something to get those old irons going, you know?
Team, on the 21st of this month, I will be meeting the District 81 that's in the Caribbean. We are having our conference. We have to vote. So it's from 8 o'clock in the morning until 12 o'clock. So I will not be attending meeting on the 21st of this month.
Okay, so on Easy Speak, just go and indicate that you're not coming on Easy Speak, putting an X, you know, or clicking no on Easy Speak, so we know that you're not coming.
Right. Unfortunately, I have to miss next week's meeting because I actually have another club, and they meet about the same time as this club does, but unfortunately it meets every other Saturday. So I try to come in as often as I can to this one as my schedule allows. And then, of course, here, everybody seems to have an activity on Saturday mornings. And the week after that, that's exactly what's going to happen with me.
So you're not here next week? Is that what you said, right?
Not going to be here for the next couple of weeks because of
Oh, it's the elections time next week. So if you are not coming, then you better assign somebody to do your 2-minute speech in case there's somebody from the floor who wants to run against you.
Hmm.
So you'd assign somebody to do your 2-minute speech for you.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I can send that to next week's Toastmaster just in case someone runs from the floor.
Well, the Toastmaster cannot do your speech for you. It has to be somebody else on your behalf. The person who is running the meeting, or who is the election chair, anyways, it could be the Toastmaster, you could, and if the election chair is somebody else, then the Toastmaster, but you have to make sure, look at the agenda and see what that is.
Yeah.
I will communicate with all the nominated members, whether they are present or not present, what to do. I'll communicate with them. No issues.
Yeah.
Alrighty, have a great one, everybody.
Yeah, I'll see
Take
you.
care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
And Nikita, be sure to go visit Gibraltar and take a tour of the city and the Rock of Gibraltar and
In Spain.
in Spain. And be careful of the monkeys.
Oh.
My ancestors.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, those Barbary apes that are up and down the island, when we went on our
Fractious.
when we went on our tour, the tour guide mentioned that when he was growing up in Gibraltar, they better be careful not to leave their lunch because the monkeys love to come in and just swipe them.
Thanks for the warning, and I'll make sure I'll go. I'll put it on my list. Ciao, guys.
Yeah.
Take care. Till next week.
Take care. Ciao, ciao.
All right,
And,
take care,
I got to
guys.
get going too. So, bye, everyone. Great meeting.
All right. So Mariana.
So did I see it correctly that you are running as a president, right, for our next term?
Yes, I am.
All right. So I hope you win.
Well, we'll see. I mean, the members have to decide. One of the things is, like somebody said, if you have the agenda in front of you, then you know exactly what's going on, because they were listed. Leadership speak against it. There was no evaluator. There was a speaker one, and then evaluator one. So they were all listed correctly. So if you read the agenda correctly.
But this is such a small letter. I forgot to print it out ahead of time. So then I just made it bigger.
Mariana, you actually printed? Don't you have a PDF on your screen?
Yeah, but if I have that on my screen, I only have one screen here. So then I don't see the Zoom meeting, and that's one of my, so, I think by next week I will go down to my office, because there I'm in my living room right now. So I can set up a couple of screens, and maybe that will be the solution to my technical issues.
Sure. So your office, is it in your home or somewhere else?
Yes. The way I have a home with 2 separate units, and I live upstairs, and my workplace is downstairs.
Oh, I see.
But it's very convenient, especially early morning, just sit in the living room. This is my dining table.
Probably more comfortable, right? So where do you live anyways? Is it in Niagara on the Lake, or where do you live?
Niagara Falls.
You actually live in Niagara Falls. Wow.
Actually, I'm 5 minutes walk from the falls.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Oh, yeah. It is gorgeous. And,
are you renting out your basement or something?
My basement is not finished, because I was hoping to be finished, but it's too low, the ceiling, and because the house is sitting on a rock, we cannot go lower to make it high enough. So the basement, but it is my storage facility.
Okay.
Which is great.
All right, Mariana.
Yeah, thank you very much for your patience, and I will try to learn, especially put this technology thing together. Oh, that said, I am, invited to that new club meeting on Tuesday. What's the name of the club? Let me. The new. You suggested it. I just don't remember the club. But I go.
Compass. You mean Compass?
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
You are doing a speech on the.
And I have a speech, so I wonder if you have time to come and see. I'm planning to do the same speech I did here last week or a week before.
Oh, I see.
And you will be able to tell me afterwards if I improved. I hope I can improve.
Well, I'm at that meeting because I'm the club.
Wonderful.
I'm actually doing a speech there as well.
Oh, okay.
So are you going to use the PowerPoint though? Because last time you used the PowerPoint.
Yes, I would try to use the different approach, but so far as you can see, and me are not friends yet. And if I can fix that by Tuesday, I would like to use it. I would like to present more like the way you do it, but we'll see. That's the goal.
Well, what you could do is actually your PowerPoint, export it as JPEG files, and then put it up in Zoom itself, right? As a Zoom background, just like a timer lights in Zoom. Put all the slides in Zoom, and then keep that window open where you click on, the background changing. So that instead of a separate PowerPoint, because it's a brand new club, and you don't it's actually a launch meeting, so you don't use PowerPoint.
Yeah, I know. That's why I try to figure out some nicer presentation, and hopefully I do have 2-3 more days to work on it. And I think first thing I will go down to my office and connect all the screens, and let's see how that works.
Sure.
I might send a help message if I get really stuck somewhere.
Okay. All right.
Thank you very much, Brahm, for all your help.
All right, Mariana. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.